In the dense jungles of Vietnam, amidst the chaos of war, one man stood above the rest, not because he sought glory, but because he believed he could make a difference. Sergeant First, Class Matthew Leonard was no ordinary soldier, a veteran of the Korean War, a devoted family man, and a seasoned army leader nearing retirement. Leonard volunteered to go to Vietnam in 1967. His reason was heartbreakingly simple. He couldn't bear to watch young recruits, many not much older than his own sons, go to war without experienced leadership by their side. Born on November 26, 1929 in Alabama, Matthew Leonard enlisted in the U.S. Army in 1947. While still in the 11th grade, he went on to serve in the Korean War and later trained new soldiers as a drill sergeant at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. But as the Vietnam War escalated, Leonard answered the call once more. On February 28, 1967, Leonard was serving as platoon sergeant for Company B, 1st Battalion, 16th Infantry, 1st Infantry Division near Soi Da, Vietnam. That day, his platoon came under sudden and intense enemy fire. The platoon commander and several leaders were immediately wounded, leaving the unit in disarray. Without hesitation, Leonard took command. He rallied the platoon under fire, organized a defensive perimeter, redistributed ammunition, and urged his men to hold their position. When a wounded soldier lay outside their defenses, Leonard rushed into the open and dragged him to safety, only to be struck by a sniper's bullet that shattered his hand. Despite his injury, Leonard refused medical treatment. He moved from foxhole to foxhole, directing fire, maintaining morale, and fighting back against an overwhelming enemy force. When the enemy brought up a machine gun capable of sweeping the entire U.S. position and Leonard's own, platoon's machine gun malfunctioned. He crawled through gunfire to fix it. But as he worked to restore the gun, enemy bullets hit the gunner and several nearby soldiers. Leonard, determined to stop the attack, rose to his feet, charged the enemy machine gun, and took out its crew in a heroic final assault. Riddled with bullets, he propped himself against a tree and kept firing until he could no longer hold his weapon. Leonard died just 6 months before he would have retired. For his unmatched courage, leadership, and ultimate sacrifice, Sergeant First Class Matthew Leonard was posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor. His widow received the medal on December 19, 1968, in a ceremony at the Pentagon, presented by President Lyndon B. Johnson and Army Secretary Stanley R. Resor. Initially laid to rest in Shadow Lawn Cemetery in Birmingham, Alabama, Leonard was later reinterred at Fort Mitchell National Cemetery in 2000, ensuring that his memory would rest among fellow American heroes. Leonard's story is one of quiet valor, a man who had already served, already given, and still chose to go back, simply because he believed he could save lives. And in doing so, he gave his own. Subscribe for more.